Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. And in today's video, we are going to be continuing Naruto Rebirth. What if Sasuke got the Rinnegan earlier? Part 3. As always, if you're new to the channel or if you're a regular and you like what we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Where we last left off, we oversaw the 1-month training arc before the finals of the Chunin exams as Team 7's training took a drastic turn from the original timeline. Remember, in this universe, Sasuke received the Rinnegan earlier via a blood transfusion during the Land of Waves, where he is injured a lot more critically than once had appeared. Because of this, the mixture of the DNA of Indra and Ashura causes Sasuke to awaken the Rinnegan in both of his eyes. However, unlike Pain, this is a pure-blooded Rinnegan that's natural in a part of his body, so there are no negative effects and he can only grow stronger with it going forward. But also, something else has happened inside of Sasuke as well. Unknown to him, by awakening the Rinnegan, Sasuke has awakened a new form of enlightenment. This doesn't mean Sasuke has changed from his overall goals and perspective, but it does mean that he is in a weird way free. Free from what? Well, we'll find out more as our story continues. Anyway, let's get into today's video. So as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. The first match of the Chunin exams proper would be Naruto Uzumaki versus Hinata Hyuga. Naruto had already advanced to the first round after fighting in the wild cards that had taken place before, defeating Shikamaru to advance. As Naruto stood across the battlefield from Hinata, he could see that there was a different look on her face, one that he didn't normally see on the shy Hyuga girl. No, this time she looked rather fierce, almost as if she were angry with him. Of course, Naruto had no idea why, but he tried to call out to her and ask what was up, telling her that this was going to be a fun match. However, Hinata said nothing. This was very eerie for Hinata, and some in the crowd could tell this. Even Hanabi was surprised by her sister's attitude. Normally, she'd be happy and thrilled that Naruto was talking to her, but now that wasn't the case. Even Hinata's father, Hiyashi Hyuga, was feeling a bit unsettled. He'd never seen this level of concentration and determination in the face of his daughter. As Neji sat beside them, Hiyashi would look to his nephew, asking him what exactly had their training been over the last month. In short terms, Neji would explain things thoroughly. Well, Uncle, your daughter is in love with that boy down there. What? How long have you... It's been very obvious from the beginning. I mean, you'd have to be a complete moron not to see what's been going on. But to be on topic, Hinata is in love with Naruto, and that's why we had to break her of that habit. Break her of the habit? Not swaying her emotions or anything like that. No, we've simply erased the potential for her not to give this her all. Just because she's fighting Naruto, that should not be her main focus right now. She is a shinobi before anything else and a representative of the Hyuga clan. She cannot allow herself to be swayed by such emotions. If she truly cares, then she's going to give it her all. Otherwise, she has no business being here. Everyone watched as Naruto would charge towards Hinata. He was going to engage in a flurry of taijutsu just to see what she could do. I mean, sure, she was skilled, but it wasn't anything he couldn't. And before Naruto could finish that sentence, he had been struck a few times. A few chakra points on both of his shoulders being closed and one being opened as he was sent rearing back. Naruto would slowly stand back up to his feet as Hinata readied herself in the stance of the gentle fist, warning him that he should stay focused. Now Naruto was a little upset. What on earth was with Hinata? Why was she acting like this? Come on, Hinata. I thought you'd be a good sport. Naruto? Hinata would bark towards him. I'm taking this seriously. I'm going to come at you with my best shot. If you don't take me seriously right now, I'm going to hurt you. Now, Naruto didn't mean to be mean here. Truly, he respected Hinata greatly. She was kind of like a friend. He didn't want to see any harm come towards her. And to a weird extent, he kind of didn't feel right fighting her. He didn't know why, but he just didn't want to do that. I mean, how much strength was he supposed to use? Well, he'd quickly learn his lesson as Hinata charged towards him. Naruto being forced onto the back foot as she continued striking with the gentle fist. Naruto dodging to the best of his abilities before getting struck right in the gut, causing him to vomit that morning's breakfast, before a swift kick was delivered to his chin, sending him high into the air. Naruto barely being able to recover as he landed back onto the ground. What the hell? Hinata! I warned you! You won't get a second one from me. This is my opportunity, Naruto, to show what I can do. I mean, if I can't give it my all now, then it's all meaningless. What about you? You have your dream to be Hokage, don't you? Yeah, I do. Well, are you going to take it seriously? Or are you just going to stand there and half-ass it? What was that? You heard me. You want to be Hokage so bad? Then prove it. So that's how you feel, Hinata? That's exactly how I feel. Hinata would rush towards Naruto. Naruto, now feeling like he could let off the kid gloves, would use the hand sign. Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu. The multitude of Narutos would now stand before Hinata, all of them rearing and ready to go. Don't say we didn't warn you. The multitude of Narutos would all charge towards Hinata. Hinata moving with elegance and grace as she dodged every single one of their attacks. Her Byakugan activated to its fullest extent. She was able to dodge them from the front, from the back, even a few that tried to burrow underground and surprise her. She took them all out simply and easily enough. The few Narutos that remained had her encircled, and they were ready to strike. You spread your chakra out easily with your Shadow Clone Jutsu. I can't distinguish the real you from a clone. You are very adept at that jutsu, Naruto. Yeah, I get that a lot. But I got something new for you. Each Naruto would hold out their right hand as a single chain would emanate from it. Before Hinata had a chance to react, the chains would wrap her arms and legs, holding her in place, as the Narutos were now set. This is your last warning, Hinata, all of them would yell out in unison. If you don't give up right now, the clones would open their mouth. On their tongue was the sign of explosion. These are explosion shadow clones. I think you know what happens if they get too close to you. Although granted, I made sure not to put in too much chakra. I don't want to kill you, and I don't plan to. But this ain't gonna tickle either. Either you give up now, or you suffer the consequences. Hinata would smirk. Bring it. What? I said, bring it, Naruto. Now Naruto was a bit unnerved. He thought that he had finally had her. He had her cornered, right? There was no way. What could she possibly do? Alright then, you asked for it. The Narutos would be pulled in towards Hinata, the real one standing back as it had no choice. The clones were getting ready to explode when an aura chakra washed around Hinata, moving and spinning like a dome. The Narutos began to spin around on their chains as Hinata swirled around and broke free. What the heck is this? It's the signature jutsu of my clan, Naruto. Now allow me to show you. Rotation! Hinata would begin to spin around with all of the clones, launching them back towards Naruto as they all began to explode, Naruto avoiding a few of them being hit by the others. In the midst of the chaos, Hinata would come charging in towards Naruto. Naruto would barely be able to block as Hinata moved past his guard. 8 trigrams! 64 palms! Hinata would then begin the dance of palm strikes. 16 palms! 32 palms! The crowd would be surprised, to say the least, as the finishing of the 64 palms would knock Naruto all the way back. As he landed flat on his ass and was looking up at the sky, Hinata would stand proud and tall. Now, you might be thinking, did Hinata no longer care about Naruto? Has she overgrown her crush? No, quite the opposite. In fact, this was actually destroying her on the inside. She never wanted to hurt Naruto like this, but during her training she realized something. Neji was right. Her feelings were holding her back. The old Hinata probably would have just given up, let Naruto win. But no, she was a ninja before anything else. To do any less in this moment would be an absolute disgrace. She was a part of the head clan of the Hyuga. If she couldn't stand now, when was she ever going to? This was her time not to hold back. It was her time to stand forward. Naruto would slowly stand back to his feet, feeling the full effects of the gentle fist. Now, under normal circumstances, Naruto would think to channel the power of the Nine Tails. However, he hadn't gotten to that point yet, mainly because he wasn't sure if he wanted to go that far. A part of him was angry, but it wasn't at Hinata. It was at himself. Had he been that overconfident, Naruto was preparing his mind for fighting against the likes of Temari or Lee. He never even considered Hinata as a threat. When this realization hit him, he walked forward towards Hinata, who stood on her guard. He didn't get too close, but he stopped as he bowed to her. Hinata. Yes, Naruto? I'm sorry. For what? I wasn't taking this fight as seriously as I should have. I underestimated you, and that was rude and disrespectful. I'm truly sorry. I didn't mean to offend. This got to Hinata a little bit. For a brief moment, she started to fluster. Naruto was giving her attention. This level of attention? He was being thoughtful and considerate, and he looked so cute. Even while beat up, he still looked cute. No, she had to stay focused. She would thank him, but she stayed on her guard. She was not going to be swooned, although he was not making that easy. Naruto would back away as he used the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Immediately, he would throw down a smoke bomb. However, Hinata could see within with her Byakugan. A multitude of Narutos would come flying towards her. She would deflect and stop them as best she could, Naruto managing to scrounge up whatever chakra he had left, hoping that his clones could buy him time as he was trying to focus. After concentrating, he drew on some of the power of the Nine Tails, amping himself up just enough for one final clash. Hinata would use the rotation, attempting to stop Naruto. However, within the strike of the two forces, Naruto broke through the barrier of the rotation, sending Hinata flying and knocking her back against the wall. By the time she had opened her eyes, Naruto had her pinned with a kunai to her throat. Naruto would be declared the winner. Of course, Hinata was a bit upset. She thought she could have done so much better. And for Naruto, he was glad he pulled just enough of the Nine-Tails Fox's power to use to win the match. He wasn't trying to go overboard or smash her into the dirt, although that body slam against the wall was definitely going to leave her head ringing for some time. In either case, Naruto would get the win and advance. The next match would see Temari versus Rock Lee. On the surface, Temari did not take this fight seriously at all. She had seen how Rock Lee fought, a boy that couldn't use ninjutsu or genjutsu and could only stick to taijutsu. If that was the case, this fight was going to be short and simple. And it was, although not in the way Temari thought. Granted, at first, the boy did struggle a bit. Temari was managing to hold her own and keep him at a distance. That was until Guy told Lee to take off the weights. The moment he did, Temari realized an ugly truth. Monsters? They didn't just exist in the sand. Lee was respectful. He wasn't going to try to harm the girl too much. After a swift kick to the back of the head, it was enough to rock her lights and knock her out cold. He didn't even have to open up any of the gates. It wasn't for a lack of power on Temari's part, but you have to keep in mind, this is the same Rock Lee that pushed Gaara to his limits decently. Going up against someone weaker, well, this was the only natural outcome. Of course, Lee was still a good sport, helping Temari up and carrying her to the infirmary. He was chivalrous and kind, and Temari was appreciative, although, with what was about to happen soon enough, it really wouldn't matter what she thought. The third match would see Sakura versus Shino. This version of Sakura, imbued with the curse mark of Orochimaru, and having been trained under the likes of Anko, was definitely a lot more different from her canon counterpart. This version of Sakura had blossomed into a kunoichi, and in a weird way, she had gotten a lot more sadistic. How sadistic, you might be saying? How about placing the bugs inside of Shino under a genjutsu? Sure, it would have been easy to try to put Shino under a genjutsu, but the bugs would just as soon wake him up. But no, controlling the insects within, that was a different story. Because it meant that Shino had to fight a two-way battle. A battle on the outside and a battle on the inside. Also, it didn't help that she had gotten proficient with snakes. A little too proficient. The Kazekage taking a mental note of this as he watched. And for the third Hokage, why did she remind him so much of Orochimaru? In either case, Sakura would use the paralysis technique with her snake summonings, causing Shino to be stuck in place as his insects started to slowly ravage him on the inside, until finally the boy had no choice but to yell out surrender. And with that, Sakura would release the insects from the genjutsu, causing them to once again serve their master, as well as offering an antibody to help release him from the paralysis. Sakura would win and advance. By that time, there was still worry that Sasuke wasn't going to show up, that he was going to be late. However, emulating his master, Sasuke would arrive in black uniform, his eyes emblazed with the Rinnegan, as Gaara would now meet him. The final match of the first round would begin with Sasuke versus Gaara. Now, Sasuke, even though in this timeline, would not have the ability of training using Rock Lee as a foresight, as Rock Lee didn't fight Gaara in the prelims, so Gaara never really got a challenge or for anyone to have a way to gauge his true power. Sasuke having the Rinnegan gives him a lot of benefits in this battle. Similar to the Sharingan, he's able to perceive and read Gaara's movements, and his overall speed will be just enough to outpace that of the Sand. Also, Sasuke would have all 5 changes in chakra nature, and as shown earlier in the series, Sasuke's ability to use his 5 different chakra natures would prove to be a way of countering against Gaara and his overall ability. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, Sasuke would use the lightning blade like before, piercing Gaara within the sand dome and causing him great injury, forcing him to have to retreat. However, with Temari being out of commission from her fight with Rock Lee, Kankuro, who would be watching in the stands, would have to escort Gaara to safety as Konoha Crush would begin. Now from here, the story would take many different turns. For one, Gaara would only have Kankuro to aid him, so when Sasuke goes to chase after him, Naruto and Sakura would be by his side. Karin Uzumaki would still remain in the stands, however she would be protected as she would be near Kakashi and Guy as they fought against both Sand and Sound Ninja, while the third Hokage would still engage in his life and death battle against Orochimaru. In the meantime, once they catch up to the Sand siblings, Kankuro would be disposed of, and it would be Sakura who would be the best one suited to do it. The reason being is that with Kankuro, he would have no way of countering against Sakura and her paralysis genjutsu, along with her ability of using the snake summonings. Because of this, Kankuro is easily subdued, and with Naruto backing them up, this leads to a 3-on-1 battle between Team 7 and Gaara. Even with Gaara entering into his monstrous sand form, Naruto with the Uzumaki chakra chains would actually prove to be a great benefit. Remember, these chains were capable of restraining the Nine Tails, and while Naruto wouldn't be fully proficient with them, he could still use them to hold Gaara and keep him in place, and the chains would have great effect. Sakura alongside him using the mini striking shadow hands of the snake technique, allowing for multiple large snakes to wrap around and coil and hold him together. This would allow Sasuke to use the fullest extent of his jutsu, getting close enough at point blank range. Sasuke would yell out Almighty Push, or Shinra Tensei to be more specific, as a large wave would be created from Sasuke's power, forcing Gaara into submission and knocking him almost unconscious. However, this would have the unsullied effect of awakening the One Tails potentially, as Gaara would now try to force himself into a deeper sleep. However, Naruto was able to aid the team by using his summoning jutsu, summoning Gamabunta, the Chief Toad. Gamabunta would work alongside Team 7, as he would tell them the best way to wake up Gaara, who would still be sitting on the forehead of the One Tails. Naruto would use the Shadow Clone Jutsu, with the Shadow Clones creating as many chains as they could to try to bind and keep the One Tails in place. As they did so, Sakura would create an opening, diverting the sand attacks and allowing Sasuke to move forward. Sasuke would deliver a right hook to Gaara's face, forcing him to wake up. After doing so, the sand beast would crumble as it wasn't able to fully awaken, with Sasuke standing over Gaara, ready to deliver the finishing blow. And, under normal circumstances, it would be Naruto that would stop him. However, you have to remember, in this timeline, Naruto never visits Rock Lee in the hospital. That means Naruto never learns of Gaara's plight as a Jinchuriki. Sasuke would stand over Gaara, looking down upon him. He had enough in the tank for one more Shinra Tensei, as he held up his hand to Gaara's face. At point blank range, he could finish him off. But then he would see the symbol on his forehead, the word mother. Sasuke would then think about his own mom. He would ask Gaara what that symbol on his head meant. Why mother? Gaara, being powerless and not really seeing much other choice, would explain his story to Sasuke. Sasuke would look down at Gaara, and then he would look over to a cautious Kankuro, who was just barely breaking free of the paralysis, attempting to shield his brother. It would then remind him of his own situation with his brother. For whatever reason, Sasuke would walk away. As he moved to pick up his teammates, he would tell the two to get out of his village. As Gaara is slowly picked up, Sasuke looks back to him. He tells him that he has a good family. Despite everything, they've still stuck by his side. He would be wise to cherish that bond, because you never know when you might lose it. Gaara would say nothing. The words of Sasuke, while cruel, were also justified. As they left, Gaara would apologize to Kankuro, something Kankuro never would have expected. By the time Team 7 would make it back to the arena of the Chunin exams, the fighting would have long since come to an end. Orochimaru would have escaped, however, his arms had been sealed away, and they were of no use to him. And the third Hokage had tragically lost his life. At the funeral, Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura, along with Karin, who had somehow become their new team member, all four would stand together. Naruto took the loss the hardest. However, Karin was there to comfort her now new brother and family, and Sasuke offered support as well. It was weird because even for Sasuke, he wasn't sure how to feel about the third Hokage. Sure, he had been helping learning about his power and ability, and he did help him out somewhat, although he couldn't say he really felt a connection with the old man. All the same, the village would attempt to rebuild following the attack. The elders looking for a new Hokage. At first, they would come to Jiraiya and ask him if he would take up the mantle, but Jiraiya was not swayed to do so. However, if a Sannin was needed to take up the mantle, then there was another. Not Orochimaru, of course, but the last Sannin. One that had not been seen in the village in almost 20 years. The one known as the Slug Princess, Princess Tsunade. The idea of Tsunade being the fifth Hokage was acceptable, and Jiraiya would be tasked with finding her. However, if he was going to do so, then there was something else he wanted to do first. There were two children he wanted to bring along with him for this mission. A little while later, Jiraiya found himself outside the apartment of both Naruto and Karin, as he was welcoming them to come along on a journey. There was a lot of jutsu he wanted to show them along the way, and they'd be on a mission to find Lady Tsunade, the next candidate to be the fifth Hokage. As the three would begin their journey outside of the Hidden Leaf, two individuals would be making their way in. Two of them hidden behind black cloaks with red clouds. A taller man with blue skin, with a larger sword on his back that was covered in cloth. The other one, a smaller figure, one of whom had long black hair, and under were his eyes, the eyes that pierced red with the 3 Tomoe spinning wheel. Do you feel nostalgic, Itachi? It's been a while, Kisame. It's been a while since I've been home. This concludes Naruto Rebirth. What if Sasuke got the Rinnegan earlier? Part 3. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is Power Core Productions and Podcastings that's to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we continue Naruto Moonlight. What if Naruto was a Hyuga? Part 3. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with Power Core Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.